Very good. Okay, we're going to be getting into today about healthy foods. The Gemara is going to talk about which foods are very healthy. Um, we spoke yesterday. Morning, everybody. We spoke yesterday about eggs and chicken and meat, and it seems that eggs and meat are are the better foods compared to vegetables. Compared to, obviously, it's much more nutritious. You have eggs and you have meat, and it's much more filling. It does much more for you. And the Gemara had a discussion: is it just eggs and meat that you have to say a burn nefashot, or even vegetables and water? And instead, Rav Papa says he should say burn nefashot on all things, whether it's eggs, whether it's meat, whether it's vegetables, whether it's water. That was yesterday's Gemara. Today's Gemara, the Gemara, now we mentioned eggs, and the Gemara feels it's important to teach us a little bit about how the eggs are healthy. And it's important to know to be healthy. To be healthy, the Rambam says, is part of the way of Darchei Hashem. It's a way of Hashem wants us to be healthy. Because the Rambam says when a person is healthy, it's much you could serve Hashem easier and stronger and better when you're healthy. So therefore, it's important to know. Therefore, the Gemara finds a purpose in telling us about what foods are more healthier than other foods. So that's what the Gemara is going to talk about a little bit about today. Good morning, Mike. So the Gemara says the following. Good morning. We welcome Morris is back. We welcome Morris back. So that we're before the wide lines, the Mem Dalet and Beis, before the wide lines. Amar Rav Yanai. Rav Yanai says in Amar Rav. Rav Yanai says in the name of Rav. You have it, Morris? Before the wide lines, from the top of the page, about 10 lines. I'll show you right over here. Mem Dalet and Beis, 44b. The first word of the line is Yanai. You got it? Yeah. Right? You see Yanai? Yeah. Amar Rav Yanai Amar Rav. Kol shehu kebetza. Any food that's the size of a egg. So if you want to go like pound for pound or ounce for ounce. So here the Gemara is talking about the size of an egg. Let's say an egg is about 2 ounces. Okay? Let's say. So if you have, good morning, Shmuel, good to see you back.
Boker Tov, thank you.
Boker Tov. So the Gemara says, if anything is shehu kibetza, if you have any food, pick a food, a vegetable, and according to this, even meat. If you have any food and going up against an egg, 2 ounces of egg will beat any food. That's what the Gemara says over here. 2 ounces of an egg, right? 1 egg, the size of 1 egg, will go ahead and be better than any food. Pick any food in the world. It's a very big statement. Good morning to Avraham, Shmuel, Joseph Atzadik, everybody who's just joined. So the Gemara now is talking about which foods are the best foods, and the Gemara says kol shu kebeitza beitza tova himenu. Any food that's the size of an egg, let's say 2 ounces of cake or 2 ounces of bread or 2 ounces of whatever food that you're going to say, against 2 ounces of egg, a whole egg. The egg is more nutritious and more healthy for your body. It could be if you have more ounces, if you have 5 ounces, 4 ounces of vegetables, maybe it's better than 2 ounces of egg. Or you have 4 ounces of meat, maybe it's better. But
morning,
morning, Yosef. Like in what's it called? In boxing, there are different weight classes, right? Certain class of weight. This weight class against that weight class. You weigh a certain, there's the heavyweight champions, there's the lightweight champions, right? So in this weight of an egg, the size of an egg, going up against any other food the size of that egg, the egg is healthier. That's what the Gemara says. Ki asa Ravin, when Ravin came, he says, Tova beitza migugalta, an egg that is roasted, that they would roast the egg a small amount, that egg is mishita kasi sulta, is greater than 6 lugim of flour. Now, 6 lugim of flour is a large amount of flour, and it just shows you the nutritious value for the body of one egg that is roasted a small amount, lightly roasted egg. Now it's interesting. The word kase means a lug, and we also know we have the word case. Good morning. You can ask the guard, so he'll get the guard, and that's the word casey. I wonder if the word casey is connected to this word casey, which represents a certain amount, which is a lug. So therefore, it is greater than 6 lugim of flour. Ki asi Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came from Eretz Yisrael, he reported the following. Omar, he said, Tava biusa migugalta. He said what we just said before, that if the egg is lightly roasted, it's soft. That's better than 6 lugim of flour. What do you say? How do you roast the egg? Maybe you just put it over a fire. You take an egg and you put it by a fire. Like you roast. How do you, like when you roast meat? You take the meat, you barbecue the meat. It would sound like they would take an egg and you put it on top of the fire, and it's lightly roasted, and it's still, the egg is still soft. Because we're going to see what about if the egg is, we're going to see difference between heavy roasting or cooking. We're going to see differences of the way you prepare the food. You can have a healthy food, but the way it's prepared affects how well it's healthy for your body. So that's what the Gemara says. When Rav Dimi, he said, yes, he agrees with that point, that an egg, a lightly roasted egg, is greater than 6 lugim. But if it's mataviota, if it's very well roasted, and therefore if it's very well roasted, then it's hard, then the egg becomes hard. Just like, if you want to make a soft boiled egg or a hard boiled egg, right? The longer you leave the pot on the fire, the harder the egg will be. So things with the roasting, the smaller the amount of the lighter amount of roasting, the more soft the egg will be. So here we see that the soft egg is more healthier. So therefore, but if you go ahead and you roasted the egg very well, so then it's only better than arba. It's better than 4 lug of it went from 6, better than 6 lug to 4 lug. So it went down 33% in its power as an egg, in its nutritious value. So it goes down 33% when it's roasted very well. And if it's mevushalta, and if you went ahead and you cooked it in water, so if you cooked it in water, so then we say kol shehu kebeitza beitza tova mena. If it's cooked in water, then we say it's only better than another thing of the similar size. That means an egg cooked in water is better than other foods that are that an egg. 2 ounces of egg is better than 2 ounces of other foods, but except levani bisra. This opinion is saying that if it's meat, that meat would be as good as it doesn't meat 2 ounces of meat will equal 2 ounces of egg, right? Meaning it's not less nutritious value 2 ounces of meat than 2 ounces of egg. So that's what, but according to this, a cooked egg, if you have a cooked egg, it doesn't have as much nutritious value as an egg that would be roasted and so on and so forth. It is still much better than most foods. The only food that's competing against when it's cooked is meat, because then maybe meat. Therefore, that's what meat is healthy. It gives strength and so on and so forth. Rabbi Akiva Omer, we had at the Mishnah. Rabbi Akiva says, "Afilu achal shalak." Rabbi Akiva says that even if you ate a cooked food, Rabbi Akiva says a cooked vegetable. He says you would have to say Berachos hamazon. Rabbi Akiva said, we have three opinions in the Mishnah. When do you say Berachos hamazon? Do you say Berachos hamazon just when you have bread? This other opinion is even if it's the Shivat Haminim, if you have the fruits of the land of Israel, you have grapes, you have olives, you have pomegranates and figs, or olives, any of those, if you had a certain amount of them, you have to go ahead and say Berachos hamazon. And then the third opinion is Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva's opinion is that even cooked vegetables, if the cooked vegetables are as a meal, you're using it as a meal, and it's nourishing you, it's filling you up, then you would have to say Berachos hamazon on the cooked vegetables. What did you say? Without bread. Even he had no bread. Just because he holds, the pasuk says, "Kakosu v'achalta v'savato v'erachta." The Torah says you eat and you satiate and you say Berachos hamazon. So he says that's not limited to specifically to bread and the other fruits of the land of Israel. If you have any food that you would be eating and you be nourishing and you have such nutritious value, and he identifies the vegetable, even if you ate a very well cooked vegetable. What do you say? We don't hold like that, and we will only say hadama and no birkat. We say burn the fashot on the cooked vegetable. But Rabbi Akiva is of the opinion that if you had a meal out of cooked vegetable and it's your meal and you're nourished and you're sustained, so and that would be savata and you're full, you would go ahead and say Berachos hamazon on that vegetable meal. Like you go out, sometimes you go out to a restaurant or in your own house. Your house is your restaurant, and you have cooked vegetables. They're very people. It's a real dish. So Rabbi Akiva says if it nourishes you, you'll have to go in and you'll say Berachos hamazon. That's Rabbi Akiva's opinion. So the Gemara asked the question. Rabbi Akiva says, "V'hu mazon." Rabbi Akiva calls it mazon, is that it's really fills you up. So the Gemara says, "Mi'ika midi dehavi shalak mizoneh." Is the cooked vegetable really fills you up? Usually, a cooked vegetable is something that you eat a little bit. It's like an appetizer or whatever it is. It's not a main course. It's not something that really fills you up. So how does Rabbi Akiva say in the Mishnah that he says if you have the cooked vegetables, v'hu mizono, and it fills you up, then you have to go ahead and say Berachos hamazon. When does ever cooked vegetables? When does cooked vegetables ever reach that level that's your meal? So the Gemara says that's the Gemara's question. Mi ika midi dehavi shalak mizoneh. Is there this concept? Where is this phenomenon that the cooked vegetable is your food, is sustenance, is nourishing you, so on and so forth? That's the Gemara's question. The Gemara answers, the klach shall kruv shanu. The cabbage, the stalk of the cabbage is very filling, very nourishing, and that's what Rabbi Akiva is referring to. If you would have the stalk of the cabbage, that would be considered nourishing, filling, and then as a result of that, you would have to go ahead and say Berachos hamazon. And of course, like we said, that's not the halacha. Okay, now the Gemara is going to say, we're going to see that we're going to bring a braita right now that mentions cabbage as a food that's really filling, cabbage as a food that really sustains you. It says the following. It says, Tana Rabbanan, Techol is the spleen. So the spleen of the animal, the Yafal Lishinayim, is very good for your teeth. It's very healthy for your teeth. I'll tell you about the spleen. What I know about a spleen, growing up, my father, Olav Shalom, said about the spleen that the runners in Megillat Esther, the runners that when they went out to give the message when the king would sign a decree, they would run to publicize the message. What they used to do is that the runners should run faster. They removed the spleen of the runners. That's what my father told me from the Medrash. And someone showed me recently that if you look at Megillah Esther, I think the Targum, when it talks about when there were two letters in Megillah Esther that went out that very prominent letters. The first letter that went out was when Haman got a letter to destroy the Jewish people. He got permission. Good morning, Mike. He got permission to destroy the Jewish people. And it says that the runners went out with the letter to publicize. They were running. The second time, when Mordechai got permission to send a second letter that the Jewish people have the ability to fight for themselves, it also says the runners went out. And on the second letter, the Targum says those runners, their spleen was removed so they could run faster. And I would bet that the runners today in the marathons, I wonder if they also remove their spleen. I wonder if it's something they did thousands of years ago. I wonder if they do it today. As we all know, many of the people that compete in certain sports, they do certain things for themselves. Some people take drugs, whatever these things are. Some people do other things in order to enhance their ability to perform. So just that's a little bit about the spleen. So the spleen, if you eat the spleen of the animal, it's very good for your teeth. It's very healthy for your teeth. And it's not good for your stomach. Krishin is like leek. Koshin lishinayim. If you have krishin it's tough on your teeth, krishin is tough on your teeth, but it is very good. Yofel livnei ma'ayin. It's very good for your digestion, for your stomach. Having leek. Leek is very good for that. Kol yerek chai. Any raw vegetable, morik, takes away some of the color of your face. You lose some of your color when you eat some of these raw vegetables. You have to talk to a dermatologist. Maybe he'll explain to us how does it work that when you eat a raw vegetable or a nutritionist, how does it affect the color of your face? That it takes some of your color away. But that's what it says. It takes some of your color away. Now, the chol katan maktin. Anything that did not grow, something that wasn't fully grown, it was supposed to grow much more. As let's say a certain fish or we're going to see in the Gemara, it was supposed to grow a certain size, and it did not grow a certain amount of that size. If you eat it, it will hinder your ability of growth. There are certain things that people that are healthy for growth. People say you drink milk, it's good for your bones, certain things. There's certain foods that are helpful for your growth. So there's certain foods that are very detrimental for a person's growth. And here we say anything that's eaten, something that's not eaten small, something that did not grow to its proper growth, if you eat it, it will have an effect on your growth. The Gemara continues. The Gemara says, one second, B'chol nefesh meishiv es nefesh. Any nefesh means something. Let's say you have a whole item. You have, let's say, a sardines. Sardine is a small fish. So if you eat a sardine, that you're eating something that grew its full size that it was supposed to grow, and you're eating a whole thing. That means the whole life of the animal was here in this fish, and you're eating it, whether it's a sardine or whether it's in any other whole item that you're eating. Meshiv es hanefesh, that has the ability to give strength to your nefesh, give strength to your body. If you eat something, an item that's a whole item that had life, this item had life, right? A fish had life to it. We're not talking about eating a whole bean, which had no life. The bean has no life. The fish had life. Whole nefesh, if you eat a whole item that had life, therefore it's very healthy. I wonder if people feel that sardines is very healthy or not. I can't tell you, but from the Gemara, it sounds like the sardines would be healthy type. We might have heard something. We might have learned about that also. Yes, and here we're saying this gives also strength to the body. For whole korov lanefesh, and if you eat a part of an animal, which this part is close to the life of the animal. That's the Gemara is going to say. Let's say the neck. If you eat the neck, there's something called neck meat. If you eat neck meat, because that part of the animal is directly next to the artery where the windpipe is, with the place where you slaughter the animal, the windpipe, the food pipe, and it's right there next to the major part of the life of the animal. So that meshiv es hanefesh, that also would give you. We'll see more about how that will be. Also, the benefits of that. We'll see soon what that benefit is. Now, kruv, and here it says kruv, that we said cabbage, mazon. Cabbage, and we said before, we identified with the stalk of the cabbage, has the ability to sustain you, to give you proper nourishment. Trudin l'refuah. Trudin, beets, are very healthy. If a person has some sort of ailment, some sort of sickness, it's a healthy thing. Morning, Moshe. It's healthy to go ahead and have beets. Beets are very healthy. Beets was a food that the old generation used to eat a lot of, and it's a healthy thing. I was just somewhere with someone on Sunday in a certain place. They had lunch out, and they served, and they had beets as part of the. So beets, the Gemara says, it's a healthy. It helps heal. The Gemara says, "Oh, the beis hasreifa shehalefet veret b'socho." The Gemara says that turnips are not so good for the stomach. So it says, "Woe is to the stomach that the turnip has gone through." So therefore, it sounds like it's not so healthy for the stomach. Cabbage is good, especially the stalk of the cabbage. There's the leaf that comes out from the there's a stalk and the leaf. So let's say you have the stalk in the middle, but that's what I would think, and then that's very healthy. It's very crunchy. That's what it sounds like. Well, very good. So now, Amar, now the Gemara is going to say, how do we deal with some of these foods? You told me that some of these foods are beneficial for your teeth. One is good for your teeth and not good for your stomach, and one is good for your stomach and not for your teeth. Like there are side effects, right? Certain things have side effects. So the Gemara says, Amar, the chol yofel l'shinayim. You said that the spleen, eating the spleen, and again, remember, all this, we're talking about animals, and what to eat animals has to be soaked and has to be salted. It has to be slaughtered, the animal, and get rid of the blood of the animal, and that's done through soaking and salting. So now, after that is done, now you want to eat it. Tchol yofel l'shinayim. We said that the tchol is good for the teeth, v'shkosha l'shinayim. but it's bad for your bad. It's good. It's good for your teeth, but bad for your stomach. My technology. What should you do? You want to have good teeth. You want, let's say, if you're having a problem with your teeth, and you want to have good teeth, and you know that the spleen is good for your teeth, but you don't want to. But there's a side effect. It has a negative effect on your stomach. So what should you do? So the Gemara says, I'll tell you what to do. Chew the spleen. Chew it and then throw it out. Throw out. You don't want it to hurt your stomach, so don't swallow it. But the fact that you chewed it will help your teeth. It's like you took the toothpaste, or you took whatever. But this has healing abilities. So chew it, and it's not called baltashlis. It's not called you're wasting by throwing out and not swallowing, because if it's not healthy for you, so then it's not called you're wasting. Okay. Cretion, you said about the cretion, the leak, you told me the opposite about leak. Leak, you told me is kosher l'shenayim. You said it's different, it's not good on the teeth. V'yofin libnei ma'ayin, but you said it's very good for your digestive system. So but let's say a guy has a situation, he wants to help his stomach, but he doesn't want to have the negative effect on his teeth. My techno say, what should he do? So the Gemara gives an eitzah. The Gemara gives you advice. Lishalkinu, cook cook it very well. As a result of the cooking of this vegetable, the cooking softens up the vegetable, and therefore, because you go through the water and the cooking process, then once it's softened up, so therefore you're not going to need to chew the vegetable much because it's soft, and therefore it will not have a negative effect on your teeth, because only if you chew it will have a real negative effect on your teeth. But since you're going to go in and cook this leek very well, so the shakinu v'nelvinu, and then you go ahead and you swallow it, and therefore you'll get the benefits, because once you swallowed it and it goes through your stomach, it'll be beneficial. The way people use leek in soup. Sometimes people, and we know we use leek on Rosh Hashanah. Why do we use leek on Rosh Hashanah? Because leek is karsi, and karsi, because we say our enemy should be like the lotion of karet, karti. We want our enemies to be cut off, so therefore we go ahead and we use leek. We say, like we say, hiratzom ufanecha. We say that our enemy should be cut off. That's where we use leek. Kol yerek chai murik. So the Gemara says, we said that before, all raw vegetables take away from your color of your face. Now, if I'll ask you, do we ever found any problem? If you ask a dermatologist, do we ever had a problem that green vegetable takes away some of your color? So the Gemara clarifies what this means. It doesn't mean under normal circumstances, if you have a green vegetable, it'll take away your color. So when is it talking about? Besuda rish Amar Rav Yitzchak. Besuda rishona shel acha koza. That means the first meal after you did bloodletting. In the old days, they would give blood. It was called hakozat dam. They would remove blood. They felt it was healthy, because when you remove old blood, and it helps the body process new stuff and new cells and new things, and they would do bloodletting in the old days. And we had a Gemara also about someone who was a very pious bloodletter, that even the poor people who couldn't afford, he didn't embarrass them, and he did it for nothing. And so if you, in the meal, the first meal after you gave blood, they did the bloodletting, if you have the raw vegetable in that meal, then it would take away from your color of your face. That's what the Gemara says. Now, I presume that meal is supposed to go ahead and have, I presume it has meat in that meal, after a person went ahead and had, blood, he's weak as a result of giving the blood. And therefore, it's very important. The type of food they eat at that particular meal is very important. And it seems that the vegetables have a negative effect on his color, takes away some of his color, facial color. The Gemara says, V'amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak says, Kol ha'ochel yerek kodem arba sha'os. If a person goes ahead and he eats vegetables before 4 hours in the day. Now, 4 hours in the day would seem to be that's the time that people start eating. Before 4 hours in the day, people generally it would seem that the first 4 hours in the day people don't eat. It's time people learn. I mean, people they daven and so on and so forth. It's interesting that Zman Tefillah of davening is till 4 hours into the day, l'chatchila. So here it says that a person, Rabbi Yitzchak says, if a person goes ahead, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yitzchak says, if a person kol ha'ochel yerek kodem arba shos, anyone who eats vegetables before 4 hours into the day, also l'saper mimeno. You should not speak with this guy. The guy who went ahead and he had vegetables before 4 hours into the day, the first 4 hours into the day, the guy went ahead and he had vegetables. So you did not have any vegetables. You're on an empty stomach. He had vegetables and he gives off an odor from the vegetables that he ate. There's a smell, there's an odor, and that odor is not healthy for the person who did not eat. When you're on an empty stomach, and if you would inhale that odor, it wouldn't be healthy for you. So therefore, don't talk to that guy. The guy, don't talk to him until you went ahead and you ate. And then therefore, you're no longer on an empty stomach. I mean, that's what Rashi says. Before 4 hours in a day is not the time that people eat. And the odor is bad for the people that speak with him when the body is empty, on an empty stomach. Okay. My time of Mishum Recha, because of the smell. And then, the first halacha Rabbi Yitzchak said was you can't talk to somebody who went ahead and ate vegetables before 4 hours in the day and you did not eat yet. The Amar Rabbi Yitzchak also la'adam sheyochal yarek kodem arba shos. It's forbidden for a person to eat a raw vegetable before 4 hours into the day. Meaning, the first thing says you can't speak to such a person. Now we're saying you're not allowed to be the one who eats the vegetable before 4 hours a day. Most probably because it would seem, if you eat the vegetable 4 hours a day, you might come in contact with, speak with somebody, and therefore you'll be the cause of causing somebody to be hurt. So therefore, you cannot go ahead. But I see that they want to translate. They want to say the reason is raw vegetables are. That's not the reason. They want to say the reason is because raw vegetables are not healthy on an empty stomach. So to go ahead and have raw vegetables on an empty stomach, that seems to be what the reason is given. I mean, according to that, if that's the reason, why is it only before 4 hours of the day? It should be, if that would be the reason, you can't eat raw vegetables because an empty stomach should not make a difference whether it's 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day. If you're on an empty stomach. So maybe I would like to say that's why I would like to suggest a different shot. That the problem is you should not eat it because you might come to hurt somebody as a result of your eating the vegetables. Because if you eat before 4 hours a day, most people don't eat at that time. And therefore, most people are on an empty stomach. And therefore, coming next to you, you're going to cause them damage. You have to be careful not to cause any damage to somebody. Amemu mazutra. Now the Gemara is going to elaborate on what we just said. Amemu mazutra v'Ravashi. There were three great rabbis, all-star rabbis, Hall of Fame, all-stars. Haviyasvi. They were sitting together. Aisu kamayu yerek chai. They brought in front of the rabbis raw vegetable, that's what we said before. There's a concern of a raw vegetable before 4 hours into the day. Kodem arba sha'ot, before 4 hours into the day. Okay, it's 4 hours, it's still early. People are still davening. People are not eating yet. Aisu kamayu yerek. Now, what happened? A meimah Rav Ashi ochol. A meimah Rav Ashi, they ate the vegetables. They ate these raw vegetables. Even though you told me before Rav Yitzchak held, you cannot eat the raw vegetables before 4 hours of the day. They ate the raw vegetables. They held you're allowed to. They don't agree with Rav Yitzchak. They don't say there's a problem to eat raw vegetables before 4 hours a day. However, Mazutra lo achil. Mazutra did not eat the raw vegetables before 4 hours a day because he held like the opinion that you're not supposed to eat a raw vegetable within 4 hours into the day. Amrule. So the two rabbis, Amema and Rav Ashi, say to Mazutra, Ma datech. Why didn't you eat the raw vegetables within 4 hours into the day? What's the reason why you didn't eat the raw vegetables? Morning, everybody. The Amar Rav Yitzchak. Morning, Sammy. The Amar Rav Yitzchak. Yes. The Amar Rav Yitzchak. Rav Yitzchak says, Kol ha'ochel yereh kodem arba sha'ot. Anybody that eats a vegetable before 4 hours into the day, osur l'saper himenu mishum recha. You can't talk to the guy, right? Why didn't you eat the raw vegetable? Because if you're going to eat the raw vegetable, people will not be able to talk to you as a result of that, because you can't speak to a person who ate a raw vegetable. That's why you don't want to eat the raw vegetable. Because if you eat the raw vegetable before 4 hours, you will have a bad odor. And as a result of your bad odor, and people who didn't eat, if they will smell that odor, that won't be healthy. So therefore, you did not eat the raw vegetable within 4 hours into the day. If that's the case, but we, the kalchlina, the other two rabbis, we ate the raw vegetable. The kamishkas b'adei, and yet you're talking to us. Why are you talking to us? You didn't want to eat the raw vegetable because you didn't want to hurt somebody else, because someone won't be able to talk to you. So now, but if we ate the raw vegetables, and you're concerned about someone talking to someone ate raw vegetables, so why are you talking to us? You should not be talking to us. Because you saw that we ate raw vegetables, and you did not eat anything, and that should have a negative impact on you. So he says, Amalu. He says, Ano ki iduch Rabbi Yitzchak really. I hold like the other Rabbi Yitzchak, meaning to say, Rabbi Yitzchak said two things. Rabbi Yitzchak says that you can't talk to a person who went ahead and ate raw vegetables before 4 hours a day. If you're on an empty stomach, you can't talk to such a person. So he says, I don't hold that Rabbi Yitzchak. I hold Rabbi Yitzchak asel adam sheyochal yerechai kodem arba shos. The only thing that I hold of, I'm not allowed to eat before 4 hours into the day. I can't eat the raw vegetable. But if someone else ate the raw vegetable, I'm allowed to talk to him. There's no prohibition on talking to someone who ate the raw vegetables and I didn't eat the raw vegetables. I'm on an empty stomach. Am I going to be negatively impacted by someone by smelling the smell of a raw vegetable of someone who ate? How take you, Sammy? So I'm not concerned of that. But I will not go ahead and do it. I will not go ahead and eat those raw vegetables. So that's what he wants to explain. Now, the Gemara continues. Kol katan, if you eat a food that did not reach its proper size, it was, let's say, a fish that was supposed to grow a certain size, and it didn't grow prematurely, or any other animal that did not grow the size that it was supposed to grow, if you ate it, that could affect your growth. Because the Gemara is going to identify, the Mefarshim, let's say a sheep, or let's say certain animals grow. Animals, let's say animals, that they grow a certain size, And if the animal did not, let's say an animal grows a certain size and it did not reach a certain size, a certain size of the size that it should have grown, then if you would eat that, it will also hinder your growth. If the animal didn't grow a certain size that it was supposed to grow, and therefore it will have an effect on you, on your health, on your growth. You know, there's something called growth hormones, and there's something called. There are people that most probably, I presume, the people that are growing. Most people might want to take things to help them grow, but there might be people that are growing too fast that might want to do things that they should not grow too much. They don't want to be 8 foot tall. So this would be a food that would help hinder the growth of such a person. So the Gemara says, and the Gemara will identify it. So the Gemara says, Kol Katan Makdin. So the Gemara says, Amar Rav Chizda, Afilu Gadya Bar Zuzah. Even a Gdi, a goat. Now a goat, we're talking about a kid goat, and a kid goat eventually grows to a much fuller size. And the Gemara will explain. So even though the meat of this kid goat is very healthy, it's good, it's fatty. I should say very healthy. It's very fatty, but nevertheless, if this goat did not grow the proper size that it was, we'll see what size will be, then it will have a negative effect on your growth if you eat it. Meaning, foods we see from the Gemara, foods greatly affect your health. What type of foods you eat whether your health, whether it'll affect heal you, whether we see about the Gemara, sometimes it'll affect your teeth, your stomach, and other things we find in the Gemara. And your growth, your actual growth. So you ever hear the expression, what did you feed the kid? It grows so much, right? Right? So the Gemara says the following. The Gemara says, even though the law Amaran, Ella the Lesbe River, it did not grow a quarter of its potential growth. It didn't reach 25% of what the full growth would be. For example, if you have a sheep grows into, let's say, a ram. And the sheep, now, so the ram is, let's say, a certain size. So if you eat a food did not grow, it only reached 25% of what its potential growth. Out of 100 on a scale of 1 to 100, it reached less than 25% of what it could eventually grow into. So therefore, let's say you have a goat, right? So goat eventually grows into this ram. This goat goes from a gedi to an ayal with time. And if you ate this gedi, this goat, before it reached the 25% of what it could future grow into, that will have a negative effect on your growth. Like they say, a baby lamb, which did not grow to the fourth of the size of a full-grown ram. A baby lamb did not grow to the full, 25% of full-grown ram, or a kid goat, which did not grow to a fourth of the size of a full-grown goat, or any other animal at equivalent early stage of development, that if it did not reach 25% of the potential of its growth, that will have a negative effect on that person who eats that item. So the Gemara says, Aval ispa revia less than, but if it reached 25%, don't worry about eating that food. It won't have a negative effect on your growth. Kol nefesh, meishiv nefesh. We said any nefesh, any type of food, if you eat a food that had life, that once had life to it, like a fish. If you eat a whole fish, let's say a sardine, it's a whole fish, correct? That you have there was a whole life that was once in this food. That's what the Gemara says. That will go ahead and restore your nefesh. Will give you strength to your body. It'll be very healthy to your body. let's say some Rashi said, like a fish that grew, small fish that grew its total growth, right? The sardine, the growth of the sardine, that's the total, that's the normal growth, right? So if it grew what it's supposed, so Amar Avacha, so the Gemara says, Amar Papa, Afilu Gildanei de Begili, even the little fish that are found between the reeds in the swamp, that even that would be sufficient. Of course, if you have a little pigeon, a whole pigeon, then of course that's referring to that. Yeah, that item had a whole life to it. It was a whole pigeon, and you slaughtered the pigeon, you shchita, and you soaked it, and you salted it, and you went and you ate this pigeon. This pigeon, that would be very good. It would be very healthy for you. And now the Gemara says, Kol hakorov lenefesh, anything that's korov lenefesh meishiveth hanefesh, will go ahead and restore your soul, give you special strength. Kol hakorov lenefesh meishiveth hanefesh. What's called korov lenefesh? Anything that's close to the place where the life of the animal is. Let's say the foot of the animal is not where the main life of the animal is. The neck of the animal is near where the breathing, where the windpipe is, and those areas. That if you eat that part of the animal, the part of the animal which is next to the life of the animal, that will be also very beneficial for your health. It will help you a lot. It will help you also. Let's see what the Gemara says. Meishiv es hanefesh. Amar Avacha bar Yaakov. That's unka. That's neck meat. It's near where you slaughter the animal. It's close to the heart of the animal. It's close to the intestines, the stomach of the animal, and this would be the thing that would be very healthy for you to go ahead and eat. The Gemara continues. Amalei Rava l'shamei. Rava said to his shamash, his gabai, the one who his attendant that helped him, he said to him, Ki maisi li umsa de bisra, when you go to the shochet, and to buy meat, a piece of meat, you want to tarach v'aisile, go to the butcher and ask him to, I want meat, the mekarev, the Beit Baruch. The meat that I want is close to the place of blessing, the place of Baruch, the place where you say the bracha on the shchita. Before you slaughter the animal, there's a bracha. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu mitzvos v'tzivot ala shchita. But I think that's the language of the bracha. I have to look it up. There's a bracha before you do shchita. Shchita is a mitzvah in the Torah. You have to slaughter the animal. There's a bracha before you do shchita. So he says to him, when you go out to buy meat for me, please buy meat from the place where they're going to do the shchita. Meaning that's like the neck area. That they don't slaughter the animal by cutting the foot of the animal. They slaughter the animal by cutting the simanim, by the neck, the esophagus, and the windpipe, and the food, the kana and the veshet, the windpipe and the food pipe, as we learned in Maseches Chulin about the shchita. Rov l'mazon v'tradon l'refuah. The Gemara says that krov, we said that cabbage will fill you up, will sustain you. The stalk of the cabbage, if you have cabbage, you have to just be careful about the lettuce. There's no bugs. You got to be careful. By the way, never eat romaine lettuce unless you do very good checking for romaine lettuce. There's a lot very commonly found bugs in romaine lettuce. Be very careful with any greens that you eat, any vegetables. You got to be extremely careful. Now, krov l'mazon u'tradan l'refuah. You're telling me that krov, that cabbage is good to sustain you. It's healthy to fill you up. But beets are very good for your health. So the Gemara says, Vatanya, we learned Shisha Dvarim. We learned in the Braita there are 6 things. Merapim es hacholem mechol. There are 6 things that heal a person that's sick from his sickness. Refuah san refuah. And it heals and it remains healed. And it remains healthy. It's not like a temporary fix. These are 6 things. The Eluhain. Kruv. If you have cabbage is very healthy. It heals you. Trodin. And
what?
Beets. Beets are very healthy. Beets are very healthy.
Selic. We call it selic.
Okay. Silka, very good. Sisin. Sisin is what they translate sisin. It's pennyroyal. It's a pennyroyal dish. I don't know what that is exactly. It's the water of dry. It's a cooked. Rashi says a cooked pennyroyal. Anybody know what pennyroyal dish is? But it's a cooked pennyroyal dish. You have to look up on Google what's a pennyroyal dish. But it's a pennyroyal dish is very healthy. And he says, what else is and heals? What else did he says? The keva. The keva is also like by the inside, by the stomach. Usually we would translate the keva of the stomach. But we have to see exactly how they translate this. Let's see if they we have to see exactly how to translate it. They translated the maw, M-A-W. Anybody want to look up what M-A-W is exactly? But that's what they translate the keva is very healthy. What did you say? More, not more. M-A-W. M-A-W. What comes up as M-A-W?
Maybe it's troll, because I know we do eat troll, but I don't know about what is more.
More. How do they translate more? Yeah, because the throat. Okay, that's what they call the more. M-A-W. That's how they translate it. Okay. I mean, we got to look up. Okay, the Gemara continues. The heres. What did they say? You found it?
It says the throat, gullet, or jaws, especially of a voracious animal. So
Okay.
throat, gullet, or jaws.
Okay.
Hey, what was that, Rabbi?
The jaw. By the jaw, that's what they say. Joseph said with the jaw, right? That you said like by the throat area.
Yeah, throat, gullet, or jaws.
Okay. And then the Gemara continues. Heres, the womb of the animal. That's where the baby grows over there. And that's very healthy, that part of the animal. V'yoseret hakaved. Yoseret hakaved, that's the meat that's between the diaphragm, which is the meat between the lung and the liver. And that's also very healthy. So we see clearly.
I think we can stick just with the cabbage, Rabbi.
Okay, maybe the cabbage, right? The cabbage, the stalk of the cabbage is very easy to get, but the beets are also very easy to get, Yosef. Let's stick. The easy things are and it's listed, the order is interesting. It has the cabbage, the beets. So it's very, very healthy. So the Gemara says, so we see here that it's listed for refuah, that it's not just good for sustenance to fill you up, the raw vegetables, even for medical purposes, the cabbage is very good. So what are you telling me that the kruv is only good for the vegetable is only good to fill you up, but it seems that it has even healing properties that Hashem gave it. So the Gemara says kruv aflamazon. Kruv is not only good for healing purposes, but also the cabbage can also fill you up and give you nutritional wealth as well. It helps you also nutritionally, fills you up. So therefore the cabbage, the stalk of the cabbage has double benefit. It fills you up, sustains you, and also it's healing. So therefore a lot of people talk about having greens and eating cabbage or eating stuff. So here we're talking about cabbage. We have to know what he means by cabbage, but we're translating it's cabbage And also we saw the stalk of the cabbage, the Gemara says. What gives you, fills you up. So for sure, the stalk is the thing that's going to be very healthy as well. And medical healing abilities. Hashem gave different foods, different abilities to help us, that we should be able to be healed. Everyone should be well and not need anything. And if anybody needs anything, they should, hopefully they'll be healed. That's Hashem. I want to wish everyone a great day. Thank everybody for joining.
Thank you, Rabbi. Have a great day.
A great day, everybody.
Good day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Thank you for coming, everybody. Tomorrow you're traveling, but you'll be here in the morning. We might get you. If you have time to come, we'll love to.